I'm following Temple's A team versus Caltech's B team. Um, yeah. Temple has two of their players ready. I'm not sure where the other two are, but none of the games have started yet, so they're not late or anything. I'm just early. I'm an early bird. So yeah, this is the last match of today that I'll be streaming, and of this week until next week with the semifinals. So that's gonna be really exciting. And here we go. Game underway. Here, let me see if. Okay, we have 3 of the 4 games going. So yeah, Temple always a fun team to watch. Their B team won by forfeit earlier today. So Temple is one of the few teams that have both an A and a B team left in the tournament. So their A team is gonna look to continue on and follow their B team into the semifinals. But yes, this is Division 3, I believe. And Caltech, their B team is playing. Unfortunately for them, I don't think they had their best B team put forth. So Temple A, they have their top 4 players from their school on the team. Caltech was missing a couple players, and it's already tough enough when you have an A team versus a B team. So Temple is definitely the favorite here. They are also the higher seeded team. But yeah, we're watching Berdooli's game here. So Berdooli is their second board, 2200, so pretty high rating for a Division 3 player. And he's not even their strongest player. So their board 1 here is Wikipedia, 2400. But yeah, I don't see their 4th board, Jason. So let me try to follow them. Alright, so we're now following Jason, but he hasn't started his game yet, which tells me that maybe Caltech is missing a player, or they're still trying to figure it out. But anyways, let's check out Spyro's game. Actually, this is a somewhat close match. This is board 3 versus Caltech's board 2. Ryan Clark, he's 1868, so he's higher rated than Temple's bottom 2 boards. So why is their A team in Division 3? They have a 2400 and a 2200 player on boards 1 and 2. It's because their boards 3 and 4 are much lower rated. As you can see here, board 3 is 1567. So large drop off between their board 2 and their board 3, rating difference of about 700 rating points. So that is quite a lot. Meanwhile, Caltech, their team is definitely much more similar in rating. So that is why an A team is in Division 3 or Caltech's B team is in Division 3. It's because Temple A does not quite have the depth. But that being said, when you compare the two teams head to head, I think Temple's definitely going to be stronger because of their top 2 boards. So still waiting on that 4th game to start. I don't know where Caltech B team's player board 1 is. So yeah, then that's not a board that you want to be missing. Missing a 4th board, and that's a different story, but missing a top board is going to be really tough. So that's a lot of points to be missing. Also, you do have a penalty point if you're missing a player, which obviously is not ideal. Actually, UT Austin just beat U Chicago's top team, missing a player. It was their 4th board, though. But their top 3 boards are strong enough to get the job done, actually winning the match 8.5 to 7.5. But because of the penalty point, forcing overtime, they had to win in double OT, where they won all 3 of their games. So that was a crazy overtime match, and we caught the end of it on Atulia's stream, who's their board 3. But yeah, this is a different scenario, though. If Caltech's missing a player, it's their top player, which is not going to bode well for them. Okay, so black just simply takes the knight, which is defending the d4 point, but the bishop is also here. Bishop is staring at some dark square pawns, and Spyro definitely needs to take this back. You shouldn't be considering this because you don't want to ruin your kingside pawn structure. I mean, unless he's thinking about this, but yeah, I'm really expecting this, and Spyro's taking their time here, thinking on it. They take with the pawn. Wow. Okay. So they're going to use the G file for their rooks. This was not expected. Yeah, and the knight on F5 is going to be really strong attacking this. I don't know if you can defend this pawn. Okay, rook here does a good job of blocking the queen out, actually. And the queen's going to have to leave this diagonal if the pawn is ever to kick the rook out. So this is a strong move. I'm still kind of shook by this G takes F3 move. But maybe Spyro has a plan. So, okay, queen's rerouting here. King tucked to the H file. That's a good question, Kim Stud. Who knocked you out? Caltech, yeah, Caltech B team beat you guys. It's hard to say. I mean, there are fans that root either way. You'd love to go rook g1, but you don't want to blunder your f pawn. So perhaps queen move, but you don't want to blunder this pawn. Actually, queen's rerouting this way. Yeah, so now the knight can take here. The queen was attacking this way. Rook blocked it, but now after the reroute of the queen, we see d4 is once again a weak spot. And actually, yeah. So Pawn Slayer with the tricky queen reroute wins a pawn on d4, and that's a big pawn. So yeah, Wikipedia is a good viewer. Definitely always in the chat, even if his team's not playing. So, and he's also just a very strong player as well. 2400 Blitz, chess.com. Apparently only 1600 USCF. So they're underrated over the board. They could enter some tournaments and get some prizes from the lower sections, perhaps. But yeah, Wikipedia is actually down a pawn here against Newbie Coder. So I don't know what's going on here. These are two connected passed pawns for white, which I would be a little nervous about, not gonna lie. Hello to White Noise, another good fan, good supporter of the channel. Oh, this is a double attack right there. Pawn takes bishop, rook takes rook. Bishop here, just delaying the inevitable. You could actually even give this up and take here, although that's under fire, so I don't know. You just simply move the queen and you're chilling. Queen c5 is a good idea. This queen here. Yeah, you save the queen and you maintain your dual threats and you will win material. Hello, BK Chess. You're playing USCF next weekend. Well, good luck. That's exciting. Yeah, I might play in the National Open. Who knows? It's coming up mid-June in Vegas. All right, so white saves the more important piece, the rook, and loses the bishop. So you know what would have been cool? You could have done queen takes here, I think. Because if queen takes, you have rook check. Oh, there's queen block. Never mind. Yeah, there are back rank. Oh, the knight's actually here. Never mind. Yeah, imagine playing a move like that. I mean, even if they didn't have queen block, yeah, that still would have been brutal. But yeah. Black is better than me. I mean, maybe I would have seen it, but Yeah, knight comes out. That was deceiving. I thought there was no flight square, but there was a block that I missed. But you win the pawn anyways. Might as well win the other pawn. Oh no, there's queen takes, so probably knight takes. That's what you want to do. Yep. So Wikipedia should definitely be winning this. Board 1 versus board 4. Could also have traded here. Is rook takes. If rook here, there's simply knight back. There's also rook here. There's also bishop here. Yep. It's probably more active of all the options. But yeah, also the time advantage is huge. So let's look at Temple's board 2. So rook and bishop versus rook and bishop. Oh, plus an extra bishop. So Berduli should win this. This is a threat. Or actually, more accurately, this is a threat. So rook here. There's this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you save the bishop and you win the rook. So, yep, there's a win for Berduli. Starting Temple off with a win. And I have a strong feeling Wikipedia will win their game. So here we got Spyro versus Pawn Slayer. So, yeah, Spyro very early on took very awkwardly here, trying to open up the G file and now trying to put it to good use, but the knight and the queen are both defending checkmate. So white's threats are not that deep. Black could even go pawn hunting. No, actually, no, they couldn't, because the bishop can take here, pawn takes, now queen takes is an idea, as this pawn is pinned. Instead, just going for this. But this pawn has sufficient defense. White is down 2 pawns and can actually grab some more pawns. The queen could grab this pawn, though. So, who knows? Okay, Wikipedia won their game. So, Temple out to a 2-0 start. And I don't see the 4th game starting. So I'm not sure where Rafi is from Caltech's B team. Maybe I should reach out to them or something. Whoa, Spyro won. Wait, where did the queen go? Oh my god. So black is up 2 pawns, blunders big time. H6 check, prying the king from the defense of the queen. Just as I looked away, and mate is unstoppable. Oh my lord. Yeah, that is unfortunate for Pawn Slayer. So Temple A sweeps that round 3-0. Spyro putting that G file to good use. Pawn Slayer just blundering mate. That was unfortunate. Blundered the queen and gets the win here. So board 1 is late, and they had a late roster. All right, so we'll keep that stuff in mind. But yeah, I don't think we've ever done double penalty. So I don't think. Okay, so Caltech is trying to find their player, which means that they're likely to show up late. So they still technically have 2 minutes before they're technically forfeiting the first round. It's a 15-minute delay. So all right, Jason's actually here and playing Pawn Slayer. So Caltech's player, I'm receiving word their Wi-Fi is down. So that is unfortunate. So yeah, Caltech would not be penalized for a late show. Their player doesn't have internet, apparently. But yeah, this should be winning a piece. I've fallen for this many a times in my day, where white plays a Roy Lopez and black is just trying to stick to a Joko piano. And after d6, d4 just wins a piece for white. So because the bishop is on b6, there's no b5. And so you can't keep attacking the bishop, which means you're just losing that piece. So plus the pawn back. And yeah, this is very unfortunate for Jason. This is the 4th board from Temple up against the 2nd board from Caltech. Okay, so Wikipedia is playing Discovery. So Discovery... Who did Discovery play in the first round? Discovery lost to Berduli, I believe. So now Discovery's playing against Jeffrey. Okay, we do have the 4th board. So Rafi here is joined. Perhaps playing from mobile. So they unfortunately lost their first round, which means Jason also gets a point. So 4-0 sweep first round. So Temple already halfway to 8 points, which would ensure the draw. But yeah, I think they're going to definitely be going for the win. But yeah, Rafi here with the white pieces, 3 pawns in the center. Oh, we already have a result. Pawn Slayer gets a nice checkmate. Hold up. What happened here? Okay, so black overextended. So black was already down a piece, and then white sacks the piece back for this attack. And at this point, really difficult to hold on to this knight. I think you have to go here. That or this to defend. But yeah, rook here. Bishop takes, queen up, and checkmate from Pawn Slayer. So Pawn Slayer blundered the mate against Spyro, I believe, but bounces back with a quick win, getting Caltech on the board. So let's check out Berduli's game. Knight takes, here's a threat with a fork, defended by the queen. So how to defend this? You could go here. You could go here. You could also castle, which white does. Now, if you take here, rook here, there's knight takes here. Pawn takes. And now this is a threat. Not really a threat. Oh, hold up. This knight is just saving the queen here, by the way. But yeah. White lost a pawn, but active rook along the c file opposite the king. Knight here looks to be a strong move. Hitting both pawns, opening up the c file. So Newbie Coder's up a pawn. Berduli is down a pawn, but solid compensation. Queen steps back. Now you could go here, here. This is covered now. The queen steps back to defend the knight move. Queen comes in, insisting on the knight move, which is a dual threat. Queen also converging with the bishop here. If we see a pawn break, this is a big threat. So, yeah. This, also this. Probably this is best, because then you're taking here, lining up the queen opposite the rook. Along with this, I mean, yeah, again, white down a pawn, but strong compensation. Oh, Wikipedia versus Discovery. Yeah. Oh, look at this beautiful knight. Oh my goodness. And this bishop is the tallest of pawns. It can try to break out this way, but okay, just going for queen trade. I mean, yeah, Wikipedia's up a piece, so trading down is good. And black just doesn't want it, but now queen here forces the trade, and we're left with this amazing knight versus a terrible bishop. So bishop here probably you would want to do, but knight here forks the king and pawn. And so the king is advancing. I mean, this is also a tall pawn, but technically you can bring the king out. So yeah, after bishop here defending the pawn, knight fork here wins this pawn. And yeah, all the pawns will go. So bishop comes with check, actually. And now the knight takes, and now bishop takes here. And we have resignation. So Wikipedia gets a point. Let's look at Rafi's game again. So Wikipedia's up, maintaining the 4-point lead, bringing Temple 3.5 points away from winning. How's Rafi doing here against Spyro? So Spyro got a very nice mate against Pawn Slayer, but they were losing, although it didn't matter in the end. So Spyro here. Both sides still have 3 minutes left. I don't know why they have so much time in this game. I guess they started late. Rafi was a late show. So I think Rafi's playing from their phone, as they don't have mobile or Wi-Fi. Okay, so the bishop tucks back. Yeah, both sides seem to be doing pretty well here. I mean, white's fairly developed. Black's queen still needs to get in the game. Okay. Queen's hit by the bishop, defended by the knight here. So queen steps aside. Knight here might be an idea. It's also, you could capture here, and you work against an isolated D pawn. We'll come back to this game. There's still a lot of chess to be played in this game. Let's look at Berduli versus Newbie Coder. So oh, hold up. Pawn here, bishop here hits the rook. Rook steps up. So Newbie Coder still has that pawn advantage. And it looks like white did not go for this d6 idea, opening up the bishop. Instead, they played e4. And e4 allows for that bishop check to come in. And bishop here is going to be a very annoying piece to deal with. You might have to just play g3 there, which you don't really want to do. And yeah, black was able to play a6, which really prevents the knight from hopping in to b5. So yeah, Newbie Coder playing this pretty well against a much higher rated opponent. They only have 40 seconds to Newbie's minute 20. Hey, Oski, how you doing? Yeah, 30 seconds now. So Berduli favored here by about 500 rating points. Definitely having to find some accurate moves. Newbie Coder just enjoying the pawn and the time advantage. So, oh, I'm missing some moves. So knight comes back, hitting the bishop. Bishop tucks back. Pawn now hitting the bishop. Although that is a free pawn. And the bishop does take. And now knight here. Looking for this, I suppose. And black is just going all out now. And the knight does find its way here. But now g4 looks to be extremely annoying. If you take, you lose a piece. Pawn takes with discover check. So you cannot take this. You must retreat the bishop. Bishop comes back looking to take on a6. And that also drops this, which weakens everything. So bishop was defending this. It is no longer defended. Also, black could just maybe contemplate opening this up. But yeah, this looks to be the move for sure. Threatening to take on d5. Instead, just bring the second rook in. Bishop does take. Now, this is a checkmate threat. Actually, how do you defend this? After this, there's that. So here now, Bishop hits the queen. There's going to be bishop here. And rook here threatens to win this. And if the bishop moves, you actually have that. So, wow. Wow, this rook move, not the best from newbie. And now newbie is the one under on the clock. It's actually very difficult. So, yeah, rook here just threatens to take this right away with checkmate here. Oh, yeah, rook takes. Rook takes. Ooh, they take here. And now, oh, knight check takes, opens up the rook. What was the move here? Apparently knight takes is still a draw. I don't know how. I don't know how. So white does not even take. The queen comes in. This. Wait. Oh, queen here. Oh, no. Oh, no. You took the knight, and now... Oh, they flagged. Newbie. What a crazy game. Yeah, white could have taken here. Anyways, there was a flag. Okay, so let's see this game. Berduli, 2 for 2 now. So Temple's top 2 boards getting the work done. They're both undefeated. Flawless. Rook takes here. Yeah, okay. So black looks to be doing really good. Queen steps up. There's rook takes either of these, honestly. Instead, rook here. Why even sacrifice? But yeah, like rook takes, king takes, rook takes, and then rook here. I mean, that was just going to be lights out. Queen could go for a trade, but yeah, probably not too great. Rook comes all the way back, so now queen can no longer trade. So we could have queen coming in here. Also this, there's that now. So, yeah, they go for this now, but it's too late. Oh, they just trade. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. If queen takes here, queen takes pawn, there was rook takes here because the bishop's now pinned. So, both sides under a minute. Spyro up 2 pawns. Wait, yeah, they're up 2 pawns. So rook here, but now there's bishop takes. Yeah, and they find it. So the 2 pawn advantage is now going to be a no pawn advantage, as this pawn is still pinned and now attacked twice. And if defended, attacked a 3rd time. Actually, okay, so technically they can defend it sufficiently. Okay, going here, very interesting. Pinning the bishop to the rook. So now you defend like this or like this. You could also go here for the counterplay. Yeah, this is probably the more active idea, and rook steps up to defend. And now you probably should play here, but now this pawn's going to be lost. I think, or you go here actually, attacking this guy. No, rook here attacking this, but now I think rook takes and rook here should be really active for white. So king move. This is probably a little dangerous. Rook here, that's not helping. That's not helping. I think the second rook maybe. Because the pawn's covering this check, right? And yeah, this is gonna be dangerous. Actually, like, I don't know. I think white should be winning. The computer says it's a draw, but both sides have no time. Okay, they were afraid of this. So now you can save this pawn. You're not really attacking this. Yeah, you just lose the h-pawn. So rook here, you can go rook here, defending. Pawn here. Wait, can you take this? There's rook b5 check, actually, or rook check. Okay. Yeah, white should just be winning this. I feel like you could take. I feel like white could just simply take, because even though the pawn's like double pinned. Okay, you have to go here. Ooh, now that allows this. Forcing this. And then you have a ton of checks. Now just simply taking this pawn, but now rook takes here. Okay, taking here. Rook takes, rook takes. So white is up a pawn. Oh, but you're blundering this pawn with check. Okay. There's this check. There's also this. Only 9 seconds. Yeah, block with rook. Rook takes, pawn takes. King over here. Okay, rook here. Don't go here. That's bad. Could have gone here maybe. Okay, interesting. King back. Or move the rook. Ooh. This is interesting. Okay, I mean, it's still a draw. It's all a draw. It's all a draw. Rafi declined the draw. I mean, Rafi is up on the clock. You could blunder a rook here, but very unlikely. Rook here would have been the way to go at that point. Rafi keeps declining. Rook check, king back. King back, yeah. You could force repetition. You should take the draw, in my opinion. He's trying, though. He's trying. So there was a threat. If the king didn't address, yeah, this rook check. Yeah, don't go here. They're playing this through, man. All right, now Rafi has offered a draw, and they take the draw. All right, so draw for the first board. Draw for Spyro. So Spyro, board 3, 1.5 out of 2 against the top 2 boards from Caltech. So very strong showing. And now we have Jason versus Discovery. Who did Jason? Jason got a point from Rafi. Rafi had a no-show. So, yeah, Temple only needs 2 wins to clinch the win for the match. Looks like they're going to get it. They have 8 games remaining. But Caltech, not going to go down without a fight. Caltech actually fought in more than one way against Yale to get to this point. So mad props to this Caltech team. They had to reschedule their match in the wildcard weekend against Yale, which was originally going to be chalked up as a forfeit. So this could have been the Yale C team playing. But no, Caltech earned their spot to be here, and here we are. So they might not win this match, but they did make it to the quarterfinals. And yeah. So what happened in this game? Discovery lost a knight somewhere in the chaos and confusion. So I would go like queen here, just pinning. Probably knight here though. Oh yes, knight here with the fork. Yeah, I missed that. I mean, I saw it earlier. I just figured the queen would go here or something, but no, queen here, and now okay. You could take here and then take here, hitting the queen. It's definitely the move. And then queen here probably. And then like queen, oh, queen here, there's that. Wow. There's tricks in the position. So rook takes is forced. You want to do knight takes, hitting the queen, and now queen here hitting the knight. Queen here hitting the knight, and hoping for this and this. Knight comes in a little premature in my opinion. Now the king steps up, and you'll lose this knight for this knight. Oh, you take here. Wow. So if takes, there's takes. And there's no queen checkmate or anything. So that's actually somewhat tricky. But you are up a rook though, so just try to save. I don't know, you could take here as well. You could also save the knight. So Discovery's trying. They're trying for something. So yep, save the knight. Jason is also under a minute now, so they will have some time pressure. But I think Jason should be able to clinch this one out. Knight comes back, potentially threatening. Well, not really. The queen's covering this. So 30 seconds for Jason. Up a rook, but down on the clock. So how do they convert? I like rook to the b file, honestly. You do blunder the 8th pawn, though. Okay, pawn move. This is potential long-term weakness. The knight has to go back, probably to e6. You don't want to go to e4 because then white's knight just trades. I also like queen e1 from white, but now the knight is blocking the e file, so it's not going to be as good. But still, queen e1 is still a good move because then you're threatening f5 as well. Maybe also just f5 right now. Okay, taking, black takes back, knight here. There's a check, potentially. Okay, so clearing the back rank, hitting the knight. This queen is just tied down to the rook. So white is up a rook for a pawn, but they're struggling. This queen here, you drop this. So rook here, you drop that. Rook here is an idea. Also rook to the back. Yeah, taking here defends the knight, which is really important. But yeah, you got to watch out for this as well, is the problem. So queen here, queen up, looking at checks here. So there's a check. Don't want to blunder that. If you went here, you'd lose your rook. So now your rook is hit. Queen check, king up, rook over, knight in. Oh no. Okay, Jason just Botez gambited. Now it's a rook versus a queen. So yeah, Discovery down a whole rook, but I mean, man, they fought back. They fought back to get in here. Now queen check is really gnarly. You got to go here, but now you lose the knight. Yeah, that's going to fall downhill fast. Yeah, and that's mate in 2. Nicely done from Discovery, the comeback win. So unfortunate for Jason there, unable to clinch that one out. Wikipedia got a win. So Temple's only 1 win away from the match win. We got Berdouli versus Rafi. This could be the game. Berdouli's looking to be good. Up a knight here. Oh, no, not up a knight. They're up an exchange. I didn't see the rook. They're up an exchange and a pawn. And this is a really well-placed bishop. I think simply just pushing this pawn is good. Yep. Let's look at the other game. Spyro versus Newbie Coder. So these players are similar in rating. Positions actually relatively even. I like black. Definitely the better rooks for sure. And this rook is not doing too much here. Blocked in by its own pawns. And the rook lifts to defend the knight check. Rook here would threaten check. But simply pushing the pawn would defend it. You're not threatening to take the... Oh, also, you just lose the knight. My bad. So yeah, knight probably wants to come back. Ooh, what an interesting move. Hitting the rook. Rook has to go here to defend the knight. Wow. Yeah, this could collapse quickly after a move like this. Oh, you go here. And if rook takes, you have knight takes, saving everything. Oh, knight takes here with check. If rook takes, then king takes. So very interesting sequence here, but maybe king here. And now you've got two threats to deal with, which is somewhat annoying. You still have this knight check, actually. But then, like, king here. Okay, so black finds it. There's knight h6, but then king f8. And then there's really nothing you can do at that point other than lose an exchange. So, yeah, newbie Coder's playing this pretty well against Spyro. So Spyro grabbed the pawn, but they're going to be losing material. All right, does white go for the knight check? I think it's your best move. No, they go here. Okay, but this pawn is pinned, actually. So there's bishop takes, pawn takes, and now rook takes. Is newbie going to find it? It's a free piece. No, they're just attacking this. Now the knight can save itself. Or you can defend the knight. Could also play here, defending the rook. But pawn takes is going to be annoying, to say the least. So yeah, knight back, but now black wins the pawn. They were winning the pawn regardless. Maybe, I wonder if you could have taken. Because the knight defends. No, where was the knight? No, you lose this. Okay. So yeah, just rook takes, and you don't want to trade down, but you also don't want to not trade down. So yeah, white's just kind of lost here. Because if you don't trade down, then, well, the knight's covering this. Probably you want to kick the knight out. B5 would have been the move to get to the second rank. So you could bring the king up, right? Because there is rook d1 check, but there's no check here because of the knight. So b5 makes a lot of sense. Kick the knight out. Knight comes here now, guarding d1 check, but now there is rook to d2, attacking the pawn. No, here going for the fork. So forcing a rook off. And yeah, rook comes all the way back. So newbie Coder going to have to convert the exchange advantage here. Spyro, less than 30 seconds. Both players under a minute. Decides to move the knight back. King is now getting in here, attacking the pawn. Pawn could push, or this pawn could push. Nice, trying to make some jabs at different areas of the board here. The king's stepping up. The king's trying to meet in the center. There's a rook check that's annoying. Okay. Yeah, this is really good. White's 3 pawns here are acting as if they're only 2. You want to go knight here with check. No, king here, not really the plan. All right, Berduli won their game against Rafi. That clinches the win for Temple A. Their top 2 boards, both undefeated. Yeah, the knight comes here, but no checks for the poor knight. And you lose the a2 pawn. So the king on e3 probably would have been better, and bring the knight back to bring it forward would have been a stronger plan, perhaps. So only 3 seconds for Spyro. He's playing on. He's trying to survive. There goes this pawn. King steps backwards. Now you could sacrifice the rook. That's exactly what newbie does, and now pushing these pawns forward. And you don't even need these pawns at this point because now they're enough distraction of the king that this king can come in and gobble up all these pawns. Actually, you don't want to do this because then white promotes and wins. So what am I saying? So yeah, you could just bring the king in or something. Okay, king back is very interesting. 2 seconds, 1 second. So newbie coder. Very interesting move here. Forces the king back and now pushing this pawn through. Pawn here now. King here. And now another burner move. Okay, pawn here. There's king here. And then pawn here. No, so now pawn here. And that's unstoppable. And there's going to be a second queen. Okay, missed the second queen. Gobble up all the pawns. Just got to watch out for stalemate. Don't bring the king in. Yeah. All right, resigns. So newbie coder with the point. I would have respected it. They could have gone for stalemate. But yeah, Galen, sorry. Newbie coder from Caltech, 4th board, gets a point here. And now Spyro's up against their next opponent, Discovery here. So Discovery had a nice comeback win against Jason, I believe. So Spyro and Discovery both very similar in rating. We'll stick with this game. Continue to watch Spyro. So yeah, Temple A is going to move on. I don't know who they're going to face next. I don't know if we know that yet, but maybe I could look at their bracket, actually. So let's see. They will move on to face the winner between Cal Poly Pomona and Drexel. So both those teams are pretty solid. That should be an interesting match. I don't know if they played already. Maybe they have. And I missed it. But I don't see their scores reported. But yeah, this is 3 rounds in and Temple has the win. This is the 4th and final round of today. And then I'll be going on home. So hope you all have a great Easter weekend. But yeah, looks like Black is already doing really well here. So Spyro's got this huge pawn attack on White's king side. The bishop's going to have to retreat here. And that's going to be goodbye to the H pawn. Followed by G3 and yeah. Yeah, that's going to be lights out. E7's kind of annoying because if queen takes, oh, the bishop's guarding this now, but no, now G3. G3 is just a huge threat, and now G3 is played. So that's the point behind E7 is it attacks this rook on F8, but it also distracts the queen from the H file. So again, E7 is another try here. But then you could potentially even take here and be really annoying with it. There's also like bishop takes and you just give up the rook. But yeah, Discovery's losing more material here. This is not good. So Spyro, strong game here. Really strong game here. Let's check out Wikipedia here. So Jeffrey versus Rafi. These are the 2 board 1s. Very active king on D3. King saying, I don't need a castle. No queens on the board to tell me what to do. So strong active knight here, looking at this, or this, checking distance. This pawn move, kind of unforced. Very interesting. So now king steps up, trying to cover some dark squares. You lose a pawn on b4. Black continuing on with f5. Pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes, just trading down. So Jeffrey's up a whole knight here for 2 pawns though. So Jeffrey's trying to get the rooks off the board. Makes sense. Rook here is the only place to go if you want to not trade this rook. And you don't really want to go here. But they do anyways. So Rafi just trying to keep as much material on the board as possible. Knowing that they're down a knight, but now knight takes yet another pawn. So that was unfortunate. So rook here, cutting the king off this way. Somewhat cutting the knight off a little bit, but not really. Rook steps up, trying to guard c2. Rook check, king down. Rook here now threatens this. So probably king. Well, king here, you lose that. So, okay, knight here, very strong move. I like this a lot. And if rook here, you lose that. Okay, this also a strong move. Yep, d5, just threatening this, I guess. You do lose that. So, yeah, a knight for a pawn. Jeffrey should be able to convert this one. Let's look at Berduli versus Pawn Slayer. How's this game looking? So, yeah, Berduli is up a pawn, much healthier pawn structure. These are weak pawns from black. Black does have a bit more space on the king side, but I don't think it's going to be worth it. Rook here even. Just to look to win some material. Let's look at Newbie versus Jason here. Okay, so Jason's kingside pawn structures have been ruined. We had this knight coming in here with discovery on the rook. Queen move, knight takes, queen takes, bishop takes. So really forced sequence from Newbie there. Nice moves. And yeah, white's also threatening to take here as well. So the knight moves, and now this is a checkmate threat. And if the knight blocks, we have bishop takes. So best move, maybe queen here. Maybe also this. A couple ideas, a couple options. Let's go back to Berduli's game. Let's see. Yeah, white's just doing pretty well. The knight's going to have to find a new home. Probably have to go to e6. So you either move the rook or you take the knight. Let's look at Discovery and Pyro. I'm hopping around a lot. So Spyro looks to be good here. Trading down. So they have a pawn advantage here. Here, Jeffrey's just going to win this. He's up a whole knight. Although, I don't know. These pawns can get fast, maybe. Probably not, though. Can always sacrifice the knight for the advantage. Oh, yeah, here it is. Rook here wins the pawn back. So it's a 2-0 majority. And yeah, Wikipedia should just be able to clinch this one out. Rook here, just cutting the king off, right? Rook will always have moves. And you don't want to trade off rooks. So this king is going to be able to play with the pawns alone. And again, just rook here. Pawn here. Yeah, this is going to be good technique from Jeffrey. Berdouli won their game with resignation from here. So this knight looks to be close to being trapped. There's going to be some rook check coming in or a pin or something. Also, the pawn's a goner. So Berdouli and Jeffrey both going flawless, undefeated, 4-0 for both of them. So really strong duo here in this division. So we've got 2 games left in the match. Discovery versus Spyro here. Spyro still up a pawn. Spyro's pawns are all on dark squares. Ooh, check, king up, another check, and king up, and you're just barely holding on to the knight. You should definitely go here, but you're losing this pawn now. But now there's knight check, and you lose this pawn. There's also this check, and here. Oh, knight takes, hits the bishop. Bishop comes back. So he's maintaining the pawn advantage. Now knight e3. Knight e3 looked to be the move. Looking at this check. So now bishop's coming after these pawns now. So how do you save them? Actually, the knight is 2 diagonals away from this pawn. You can't save this. Best you could do is push, but now you're losing that. So, it was rescheduled. Okay. Oh, I think I saw that actually. Hello, Pen MC, cheering on the Owls, the Temple Owls. So yeah, c6 was played, but now the knight is hit, and you can't even give the check. So actually, you're losing the c pawn now too. So Spyro up a pawn to now potentially down a pawn. Then the bishop is hit though. So bishop tucks back, hitting this pawn. You can give c5. Okay, taking here. There's bishop takes and then takes. So it takes here, and now you could do b5, but that lets the king in. Oh, but king here, kind of in the wrong direction. Bishop takes. Now you went from down a pawn to up a pawn to actually probably winning, because the king and pawn positioning is just too good. So probably just knight back. Yeah, this pawn's defended by the bishop, and the king's going to want to run this pawn home. So the key is, what is the key? This pawn promotes on the wrong color square, by the way. So knight c7 check wins the pawn. Ooh, and he missed it. He missed it. He missed it. That would have been a draw. You can't go after this. You need the knight here. You have to go back. But this isn't going to work. King here. There's a check. Short-lived, though. Man, this is crazy. Yeah, UPenn played last year. They didn't have a team this year. They didn't have players, I don't think. So, maybe they'll play again next year. They're always invited. Pretty much any college in the country that wants to compete, that is eligible to, can. And we're actually expanding out of the country as well. We tried really hard to get... okay, king takes, and now this is a draw. This is a draw, clear as day. Knight here might have been a better try at it, but this is a draw. This is 100% a draw. Knight here now. Okay. King back. Okay. If the pawn ever pushes, you take it. King back up. Knight here. Bishop move. Draw by agreement. All right, so Discovery and Spyro have a peaceful result. Spyro going 2 out of 4. Discovery going 1.5. And it all comes down to this final game here, Newbie versus Jason. So queen and pawn versus queen and pawn. Technically a draw, perhaps, but you never know. With time pressure, anything can happen. There's always skewers, tactics in the pawn. I mean, I don't know. There's a check, king up. Hey, Daniel Moreno, well done today. Congratulations and good luck moving forward. I think you guys play Mizzou, so that's going to be a really tough match, but you at least guarantee yourself a spot in the third place match. So that should be exciting either way. There's queen check here. There's also pawn put. Now there's queen check here and pawn push. So the sides could try to raise their pawns. Another check. Pawn push, maybe. No, just more checks. Has Chicago... Yeah, Chicago lost to UT Austin in a crazy match. UT Austin was literally down a player and had a penalty point, and they still were able to get overtime. Ooh, queen takes and then run the pawn. And the king is now in front of the pawn. So there's a queen. Oh, but what was the computer saying? Was this always a draw? Okay, apparently it was always a draw. So king here, you have to go. Oh no. Oh no. King here now, and that's mate. Oh no. Black got a checkmate here. This game was drawn. Queen check, you have to go to either A7 or A8. You go to C8 and you're getting mated. So that's a very instructional end game right there. The better thing would be to not allow for this. Best is queen takes, king takes, and then king B4 apparently. Or I don't know. This is dangerous, man. This is really dangerous. You allow the queen on, but you have to find this idea here. This apparently holds a draw, apparently, but the pawn is one square away. There's an idea that the queen versus the pawn wins if the queen can force the king blocking the pawn, because that allows for the king to move, right? So what you want to do is you want to constantly maintain the threat of promotion. And so Black's best shot would be to continually give checks. And I think the reason why this works with this pawn is because like if queen takes here in some lines, it's going to be stalemate if the king's in the corner. So yeah. That's a tough way to lose a game. King C8, king E6, mate next. So if king here, that's a stalemate. But yeah, you go here, and the only legal move is to put yourself into mate. So tough loss for Jason. Really well done from Newbie Coder, getting something out of nothing. And yeah, he goes 2 out of 4, which is pretty good for a board 4. But yeah, Caltech B is done for the season, and Temple A will move on. So congrats to Temple, moving on to the semifinals. And yeah, good luck to you guys moving forward, and hopefully we'll see Caltech again next year. And yeah, I'm done for today and this week. So hopefully you guys... Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. I gave the point to Newbie Coder. My bad. You're right. It was Jason that won this game. Congrats to Jason. So the final score 12-4, same as UCLA versus Princeton. So kind of a blowout, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Caltech, like I said, they fought hard to get here. So congrats to them on a good season. And Temple's A and B teams both moving on to the semifinals. So Temple's looking pretty good in the lower divisions, trying to see if they can win win the whole thing. So good luck to them, and I will see you guys